Oh, there. Okay. What's that ACAB radio thing up there? Yeah. What does it say?
The little
Yeah.
flyer. That's the one where it says, I don't think all cops are bad because the actions of a few. I think all cops are bad because the actions of all of them. Or some shit like that. Something.
Do we hand those out ever?
We should.
We should do a First Friday and hand out stuff for our show. Because there's millions of cops down there.
Yeah.
There's more cops than actual fucking participants.
We really should get some. I want to fucking. I need to find. Like, I've been trying to find whiteout even. I couldn't find one that has, like, the fucking brush. But I want to fucking fill NV in front of this, so.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, hey,
Nice.
everybody, we're
Hey.
live. We're just getting set up here. So you get a little bit of.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's our next plan to get fucking ACAB radio and Nevada Cop Block specific stuff.
We will be starting the show shortly.
Yeah.
Wow, Sally sells seashells
In the
down by
meantime,
the
we're gonna have
seashore.
a coffee drinking contest, and it's extremely hot coffee. So
That's right. Chug.
Just fucking set some of these fucking. It's gonna eliminate some of the competition.
So I'm not sure if we have audio going, but I mean video. But
I don't think I hear that.
yeah, we have a couple of police officers in the studio with us today.
Officer Claus is here.
They have a lot to say.
We need to get him his own mic. I don't, can you hear that through the? I can hear myself. But I don't really hear the pig. We should get like clip-on mics for these pigs. You know.
We should. So if anybody would like to make a cash donation to ACAB Radio,
For clip-on mics for pigs.
it would be greatly appreciated. As you can see, we keep upgrading and upgrading. Now we have 2 pigs.
Yes. They're getting their own chairs next week.
And they'll be doing their own segment.
These are those good cops you always hear about.
We're going to have a pig off.
I should do some eyebrows or something on these guys. We need to work
Eyebrows.
on their faces.
I don't know if pigs have eyebrows.
I don't know. They should. What happens when they sweat? How do they keep it out of their eyes?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
That's a good question.
Guy can wear a belt but can't have eyebrows. Annie Molds. I like that. Because kind of Annie, so it's kind of like anarchist, you know?
Right.
Anarchist molds.
Uh,
Flash. Of course, it's made in China.
So we should at some point be able to
Nice.
We've been hearing reports of RCMP mobilizing out of Smithers and Houston in so-called British Columbia. So we're just patiently waiting, and people have been making preparations. So this bridge, which was once a soft blockade, has now been transformed into a hard blockade. People can still come here, but they're not going to be able to drive in.
We know that the state is willing and capable of using the same kinds of violence that they've used against our people for the last 150 years here. History is in the making right now, and what we do and what the RCMP do and how the public reacts and how government reacts is going to shift how this world is, and it'll be a truth-telling of the reality of indigenous peoples and lands in these areas and in this country so-called Canada.
Music.
All right, welcome to ACAB Radio. This is episode 31. I'm your host, Jay Lyfer, Kelly Special K Patterson, and King Ron.
We're so tiny.
We got a special show for you guys, but please, if you could help us out, help us beat Facebook's algorithms, comment maybe where you're viewing from, anything really, give it a like or share and help us reach more people.
And if you feel like putting fuck Zuck as a hashtag, we're not going to tell you can't.
Yeah,
that's right.
Anything really helps. Just sharing this out. We got a little backstory on the pipeline story that's going on right now. So go ahead, watch this for a second.
And Indigenous land defenders in Western Canada say a raid on their encampments is imminent. Members of the Unist'ot'en and the Gidimt'en Clan have been physically blocking entry to native Wet'suwet'en territory, where TransCanada Corporation planned to build the massive $4.7 billion Coastal GasLink pipeline. Last month, the judge granted a temporary injunction for access by Coastal GasLink workers. Reports emerged over the weekend of chartered police buses arriving in the area to defy the two Wet'suwet'en roadblocks. This is Molly Wickham of the Gidimt'en Clan speaking Saturday night.
You know, people like to think that things have gotten a lot better in so-called Canada and in our communities, and that things aren't the same that they were 150 years ago. But that's just a fallacy. It's false. Because we know right now in this reality that the state is willing and capable of using the same kinds of violence that they've used against our people for the last 150 years. Here.
Again, Molly Wickham of the Gidimt'en Clan in Western Canada speaking Saturday night.
And here's another good clip I found on the... This is a recent development, just happened yesterday, I believe. So I dug up as much as I could about what's going on out there from the front lines, and I came across a couple
Deep
clips.
in the central interior forests of so-called British Columbia lies the unceded territory of the Wet'suwet'en Nation. Never surrendered to the settler colonial Canadian state, the gateway to these remote territories is the headwaters of the Wet'suwet'en River, which lies under the stewardship and protection of the Unist'ot'en Clan, one of the 5 house groups that make up the Wet'suwet'en Nation. For the past decade, the Unist'ot'en have been physically blocking the construction of 3 major oil and fracked gas pipelines slated to pass through their territories en route to refineries and tankers on the Pacific coast. Ground zero in this stand has been the Unist'ot'en Camp, constructed in 2010 as a permanent resistance community located smack dab in the path of the originally proposed route of the Northern Gateway, Pacific Trails, and Coastal GasLink pipelines. The Unist'ot'en have also established a checkpoint system with access to the territories conditional on completing a free, prior, and informed consent protocol. This system grants the Unist'ot'en authority over who gains access to their territory, which has allowed them to keep representatives of the extractive industry and Canadian state at bay.
All right, so next is a clip of the state, the cops coming in and just brutally tearing down the barricade and arresting, I believe, 14 indigenous people were arrested.
And this is on indigenous land, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even like, you know, you can argue that they're violating public property or whatever, or, you know, private property of the company or anything. This is on the indigenous tribe's land.
Yeah, and this particular tribe, they never, I guess, from my understanding, they never signed any treaties. with the Canadian government, so there's no.
This is out now trespassing.
So it's
Yeah,
like
it's
if
or
they,
invading,
Yeah.
invading another.
so if they came
sovereign
up,
land.
if they came up to your
Absolutely.
house and ripped your fence down and said we're going to use your yard, that's basically a microcosm of the same kind of situation.
Right.
Their private property, really.
It's sovereign land that they're on, so they.
And I don't know exactly how it works in Canada, but the United States, tribal land with Native American tribal land is considered a sovereign nation. It's not even considered a part of the federal government.
Yep, this is normal for Justin Trudeau. It's no surprise for him to be pulling some shit like this. But check it out, the clip of what happened yesterday.
Are we not people?
We're people.
Why aren't you protecting us from them?
We're the people from this land, not your land.
Don't you understand that we love you? We do this for your families too.
We're protecting
So you can also enjoy this beautiful land and the clean water.
You can drink this water right here in Gidimt'en. That's the water that feeds all our territories. It feeds all the territories all the way down to the ocean. These are our headwaters.
We never saw an injunction. We never saw anything signed. You guys are prematurely here. If you followed your own rule and protocol, you would not even be
You
here.
don't even know that you're breaking your own law right now.
We are going to have our members come over top. At this point, I still consider, from you guys being fairly peaceful. I hope it stays that way.
You're trespassing! You're trespassing on Unist'ot'en land!
Hey, look out!
You're breaking your law!
Young man, go back, young man! Young man, I pray! I pray, please, young man! Please, stop! You're hurting them! Stop! Young man, you must! You must!
Look out! Look out!
Look out!
I'm coming down! Look out!
No! You're not! You're not! You're not!
Under arrest!
Stop!
Under arrest! Get down!
Stop! The Wet'suwet'en have won rights and title to their lands. We did not hurt anyone. The hereditary chiefs say no. You cannot go through our lands, and under your law, the authority is them, is her, is Molly!
You're under arrest, man. Let's go. Come with us.
You're going? I'll take it. Take it. I love you, Mel. I love you.
That's funny. One of the things about that clip, like toward the beginning when they're like getting ready to jump over and start assaulting and tackling and kidnapping people, they're like, we hope you stay peaceful. It's like, well, it'd be nice if you'd stay peaceful.
Right.
How about
Right.
that for
Practice
a
what you
fucking
preach.
trick? How about that for a change,
Yeah, you could clearly see who the aggressor was. Again, this is peaceful resistance. This is people just fighting
People
for their
protecting
land,
their
their
home
water, their
and
existence.
Yeah, and what keeps them alive.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the thing. The people that are profiting off of this, first of all, they're not from that community, so they don't give a fuck about it.
Right.
And then on top of that, they think they have enough money that they can,
Buy their way out of
build
anything.
a bubble around themselves
Yeah.
whenever the world's just polluted to the point where nobody could actually, live in it. So they don't give a fuck. But the people that actually live there and actually have to survive within that community are the ones that should really be in control of what's going on there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, but they just move ahead with their plans without any consultation or any permission from the people whose rightful land it is.
And who it
Yeah,
affects,
and-
like, on a day-to-day basis.
And if you listen
So-
to the clip, and what the woman's saying is they're doing it in
Violation.
contravention to those things, because she's saying that they've won in court conjunctions against them,
Yeah.
saying that it's their land, and then
Right.
Yeah.
And they're sovereign over their
and
land.
they shouldn't
and
have to
these
have a
people
court
don't.
tell them that in the first place.
Yeah. I guess it's the Coastal Gas Link pipeline. There's tar sands oils, frack gas pipelines. I don't know if TransCanada is another one of the companies involved. I know they constantly pull in this shit too, but it's just Justin Trudeau, who recently signed on to the United Nations human rights for indigenous peoples,
Yeah.
and he just completely went against it.
But you got to understand that they pick and choose who they decide is human.
Right.
Pretty much. It's unbelievable. So yeah, that's a really heavy story. It's like a Standing Rock 2.0, and I just want to express our solidarity with water protectors all over the world, really. And yeah, just keep fighting the good fight. Maybe some good news now to lighten the mood here. Cyntoia Brown. Cyntoia Brown was pardoned. So we talked about this last week. Not pardoned, but granted clemency. So we I wasn't thinking it was going to happen as of last week.
And
so.
and
That was
Cyntoia Brown
touching,
is the
though.
woman who was
Sex-
forced into prostitution through sex trafficking, and then
As a child.
killed one of the Johns that she was being forced to
Yeah. Her abuser.
Yeah.
One of
Right.
her
Yeah.
abusers.
basically being raped by, and was sentenced to life. And she had originally would have to wait until for 51 years before she even had the opportunity to apply for parole.
Yeah. So
And then still, she's not getting out till like August. So even with the clemency, it's not for like almost a year.
yeah.
Well, they have to make an example of her and let them know, if you've been sex trafficked and as a child, and you kill your John or your pimp, that you will pay.
Yeah.
You will pay. You'll still go to jail, because that's the justice system as it stands.
Yeah.
It's a sick system.
It's a legal system. There's no justice in the system. Yeah, so that was our good news, kind of, because it's only going to get worse from here. We hate to be hitting you guys with like bad story after bad story, so it
Yeah,
is important
switch
to
it up a
find
little
little. Yeah.
And you can't ask too much because there's not very many good stories about the police. So
Right.
we do what we can, but
I mean, I guess we could like play lip syncing videos that they sing,
Or we
yeah.
can post from their own
Well,
sites
If that's
where
what
they
you
pat
guys
themselves on their back.
want.
Yeah,
or
we
like, $60 weed busts.
what we could
and
do is
stuff.
every time when we see a cop shoot somebody, then after that we can play their lip sync video that they
Yeah.
made to
Right.
propagandize about how great the cops are.
Propaganda.
Propaganda.
All right, next story here. I'm sure most
Yeah, I'm sure this
people
guy
have
was
heard
doing a
about
lip sync
this.
video.
Faulkner County Sheriff was fired. Sheriff's deputy was fired. He's the one who shot the little 8-pound chihuahua.
Should say he was only fired,
Yeah, hopefully some charges come out of it, but you
They
know
will.
how that goes. Yeah, doesn't happen.
and he'll be working at the next county over, if not for the city police.
I like this police to police meme. Thought I'd throw that in there. You aren't a cop, you're a criminal. You aren't a hero, you're a thug. If if you can't do your job without shooting a 9-pound dog, you're a coward, a terrorist, and everything wrong with modern police.
Yeah, and this
He was a canine cop too. That's what makes it even worse.
right, and it's pretty clear in the video when you watch it, from the dialogue that it's retaliation because the guy who recorded it, I don't know if he was just saying this, but he's saying that isn't even my dog. Mm-hmm. So he's ordering the guy into the street for somebody else's dog.
But then the cop said that he thought he said it was his dog.
But he didn't.
But he didn't. He thought it was his dog, and that's why he shot it, because the guy wouldn't come to the street when he asked him.
Well, he's trying to punish the guy for not.
Exactly.
It's called contempt of cop, and it's a lot of people have died or been arrested.
It's tough when the police are speaking and all you hear is.
Yeah. I mean, that is fair.
It is a little.
You should have an interpreter there.
Exactly.
But, the thing, this is a chihuahua. And, I mean, first of all, I've been on bike rides, and sometimes you go down a street and a dog will come charging at you. Mm-hmm. And if you just keep riding your bike, most of the time the dog, loses interest and walks away because they're not really viciously attacking you. They're just doing what dogs do is they protect their territory. They bark at whoever goes by. Yeah. And the thing about that, even I've walked down the street and I've had little dogs come up and, I just keep walking. I've had dogs kind of nibble at my ankles. And if it's a little like a chihuahua, right, it's not really going to hurt you, even if it wants to,
Well, the truth is, I mean, if you go and ask postmen, pizza delivery guys, all the Uber Eats guys, and all the others that go into apartment complexes and houses day after day after day and face the dogs. Mm-hmm. I don't ever hear one incident where one of these delivery people or postmen have shot a dog.
Yeah, the mailmen have been carrying mace for, 50, 60 years, and that's been good enough for them.
Yep.
But I mean, even if you take out the aspect of it being retaliation, which it clearly is in this case, a chihuahua is not going to hurt you.
No.
Unless you're a coward.
I can kick it and it would fucking walk away. And I mean,
if you haven't seen the clip yet, we're going to play it for you guys. I'm going to try to get the comments working so we can read some of your guys' comments. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and post them below, and hopefully I can get this working and we can see your comments. But yeah, here's the clip of fucking Officer Doofus over here shooting an 8-pound chihuahua.
Not my dog. No, I don't have to step out there.
Okay, I'm gonna come to you. Your dog gets aggressive. I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah, like she was about to do. Pointing a gun at my house.
Okay, that's why I asked you to step to the road. You see guys acting right now?
You can ask that neighbor right there.
Do
These
you
dogs.
Want to step to the road?
No, I don't want to step to the road. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You're fucking kidding me.
I told you.
Yeah. See?
I'm going to contact the sheriff. Thank you. Thank you. Get off my fucking property. You better get off my goddamn property.
I'm telling you, stay right here.
Will you call my attorney?
Call whoever you need.
I'm not talking to you. I don't have to talk to you.
Stay right here.
It's very true.
And I'm especially not talking to him.
Okay, that'll be fine.
See, and when we say all cops are bastards,
and I'm not answering any questions.
It's clips like this that prove what they are.
I'm recording you right now.
They're monsters.
That's fine.
In front of me, putting me in danger.
No, didn't. Shot hit the dog. What I aimed at.
Did you see that?
And I told you to step to the road because if you got aggressive to me, I'd
I'm
shoot.
on my property.
Okay.
I don't have to do what you tell me to.
Okay. That's how your dog got shot.
That's not my dog.
See? Retaliation.
Okay. You just told me it was your dog.
No, I did
he
not.
said it was not
I have
his
it on
dog.
recording, bud.
Exactly.
I said you just shot that dog in front of me, putting me in danger.
That's my dog.
No, he didn't.
Listen to you.
I'm not talking to you, man.
You're talking to me right now. Okay.
I'm not answering any questions.
Yep.
Didn't ask you
Please,
anything.
tough guys shooting chihuahuas. They're real big pricks. So when police demand some sort of respect and we don't respect
I'm going
them,
to file a
this is
complaint.
exactly
what is your
why
name and badge number?
they do not deserve it.
Look, and he covers up
I'm not
his
answering
name
any
and badge
questions.
number.
Okay.
I'd like your name and badge number for shooting a gun 2 feet in front of me.
You'll get it.
Thank you.
Well, that's the other thing is he shoots the gun right there.
Shooting a dog in my yard on my property.
If the bullet hit
discharging
the
a
sidewalk or
weapon.
the driveway there,
I'm not talking
it
to you.
could ricochet off and
No,
hit somebody.
because this lady pulls a
It's
gun
not
right here
even
in the yard, pointing
the
it at
fact,
me while I'm on
beyond
my
all the-
porch.
with the dog and everything.
Pulled a gun. I don't know if you even checked to see if she
They're putting people
allowed to be carrying a gun.
in danger of
She have
being
a felony?
She has a carry concealed license.
Okay.
We've made contact with her.
3 feet in front of me, shooting a gun.
Listen to me. The reason we're here.
Why don't you go ahead and put the dog out of its misery?
The reason that
Still
we're here
alive.
is
Discharge it
because-
right in front of me.
Because these dogs are
There's
chasing people.
50
trying-
dogs in this neighborhood, man.
Okay.
There's 5 or 6. That dog has never attacked anybody. Ask.
And it's a 9-pound
And the other
dog.
thing, he's talking about the neighbor, and obviously we don't know, the end result of that, whether what happened with the neighbor. But the cop says she has a carry and conceal license, so that doesn't mean you're allowed to brandish a gun toward a person.
That's correct.
Without any kind of cause, because some little tiny dog barked at you. And on top of that, part of the big story now is, the sheriff fired him. Well, the sheriff had to think about that for 2 days.
Yeah.
And the reason the sheriff fired him was because of the negative response that they got from the public.
That's why you always film the
And the
police.
You should.
Right. And that's the thing is, the sheriff didn't just automatically go, that's fucked up, I'm going to fire him. He had to investigate and figure out whether he should fire him or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how we hold them accountable. They're not going to do it themselves. Yeah, they got body cameras, but you have to film the police, post it on the internet. I mean, that's what really keeps them in check. No, officers don't want to become the next viral
You
video.
should always film the police. You should have one of these with you at all times.
Yes.
You should have a
I mean, you
red
got
cap
one of
on it so they
these.
can't say that you have a
Yeah.
dark object in your hand.
Nice. Smart thinking. Smart
But
thinking.
I carry that with me at all times. And you should too.
So I tried to get the comments pulled up, but looks like that laptop froze. So I got it on my phone here. We got Nate
See,
Clark
Zuck again.
from trying to sabotage us.
Right, hashtag fuck Zuck.
Exactly.
We got Nate Clark from Memphis, Tennessee.
Nice.
Sabu, my buddy Savvy,
Nice.
is here in Vegas. And Paul J. Salerno, fellow comrade. I believe he's out in Cali, right? Do you guys know him? You know Paul?
I know him online. I haven't met
Yeah,
him in
me
person.
too,
but
online, Good stuff.
And when we do shout outs, we should fucking do
Yeah.
that.
All right, let's see the next story here. Oh, okay. So the stats are in, folks.
There we go.
I don't mean to say it like that, like stats. I mean, these are people with families. These are people's children, people's parents, brothers, fathers, sisters, mothers, and children. So let me see if hopefully this doesn't freeze. But this was a really good article, so I want to scroll through here for you guys. Check it out. It's on theroot.com. You list a few cases, but there's the stat right there. 1,165 people. Police killed 1,165 people last year.
Now, I wish we had the stats on different countries in Europe. If we knew how many people were killed in England.
Well, you can count them on one hand, I'm sure.
I think it was
that's
Norway
correct.
where they've killed one person in the history of the country.
Right.
That history is not like the United States, where it's like 200. It's like 2,000 years.
Right. So when you
So-
put down, the numbers, and people say, well, we have a large population here, 1,200 people doesn't seem all that much. But when you look at other nations and the number of people that the police kill there, it's quite telling. The police abuse that goes on here.
This is important here, too. Cops killed
And-
36 more people than they did in 2017.
Yeah, and the other thing, at the end of that sentence where they say mapping police violence by Washington Post, the reason Washington Post is the one mapping police violence is because the police refuse to report on it themselves.
Yeah, they don't keep track of the stats.
And there's some precincts that don't have the numbers in, so the numbers are higher.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because there are some that they just don't have the information for.
Mm-hmm.
So
now I want to pull this chart back up again. So looking at this, people that are like all lives matter and are against, you know, BLM.
Yeah.
They say, see, look at the stats. White people are killed more than black people. I told you. But what this article points out that you got to take into consideration here is despite being
The population, it's
12.6%.
like 3 times as much if you go by the population.
Exactly. 12.6% of the U.S. population. Black people were 26% of the people killed. So double, triple. Yeah.
And the other thing is, it's such a dangerous job, but 148 cops died in the line of duty, and that includes car accidents where they didn't wear a seatbelt and drove crazy.
Right.
It's more like, I think, 60, I think, is the actual. I don't even know if it's that much, but like the number is a fraction when you break it down to cops that were actually murdered.
And it's lower in modern times than it has been at any time in the history of the U.S.
Yeah, it's historically low, and the numbers of people that they shoot is going up, not down.
Yep, every year. So I want to read this section for the people who can't see it that are listening maybe on iTunes or something like that. It says here, the number of black people killed by police in the last year, 215, was more than all the police who died in the line of duty, U.S. servicemen killed in action, and Americans killed by Islamic terrorists combined.
Yeah,
all combined.
So the other thing about that is soldiers out there at war, there's only been 2 of them killed. There's been 1,165.
It's more dangerous to be a black man in the United States than it is to be a soldier in combat at this time.
Black people were 3 times more likely to be killed by police than whites were. More Americans died last year from police shootings, 986, than mass shootings, 84. 28% of unarmed victims of police killings were black and only 48% were white. And then again, for that stat, you got to take into consideration the percentage of the population. 39% of people killed by cops, even though they were unarmed and not attacking, were black. Yeah, it's just crazy stats. This is a great article. Check it out.
And violent crime rate has no correlation to shootings by police. And it's actually, and they had a study in Utah about this because Utah was one of the only states that would actually release the figures on it. But they went back and they looked at the use of SWAT teams. And by and large, I think it was like 92%, the use of SWAT teams were nonviolent drug charges. The actual people that had like a known history of violence, more often than not, they didn't even use a SWAT team on them. So that, you know, their justification for using these military weapons and military vehicles on a raid when they do these raids against people that, you know, smoked a joint or something has always been, you know, the chance of violence. But when they have cases where it's known, a known violent person, the person has a history of violence, they did not use SWAT teams.
Mm-hmm. So check this out. If you took all the killings by gangbangers in Chicago, added all the deaths caused by black identity extremists,
which
0.
is a fallacy that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah. Threw in all the deaths caused by NFL players kneeling, 0, and multiplied that by all the cops killed by members of Black Lives Matter, sworn law enforcement officers killed more than twice that total. 99% of officers involved in the 1,165 police killings in 2018 were not charged with a crime.
And then 99% of those that were charged were
given a pass.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
And the other thing, all those bang shootings in Chicago, there's a lot of allegations that some of those are done by the police.
And set up by the police.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting stuff, man. It's crazy times we're living in. What else was the next story? Oh, we might as well talk about this article here. Is a great article by local activist Nisa Sun. We've had her on the show before. Check it out. It's on the page. It's also on iTunes. We've had her on twice on the show, and it was a really great show. So check it out if you haven't listened to that yet. But this is regarding the Junior Lopez shooting last year. And it's a really great article. It's on changewire.org. So definitely check that out.
And we've played that video before. It's the one where you can clearly see he's not reaching for the weapon, and they shoot him after he's already pushed it away from himself.
This is his girlfriend, Amber Bustillos, with the cake. It would have been his 23rd birthday. This is at his grave site at the Woodlands Cemetery. Looks like they had a band there. It's a really great article. A lot of good pictures, the whole family together.
So basically, taking a shortcut in Vegas can get you killed.
Yeah, that's
what
all it
happens.
was.
That happens many
It was a
times.
traffic violation, yeah. So I would definitely want to point this out. Along with Lopez's family, 11 other Las Vegas families will no longer be celebrating with their loved ones for their birthdays. LVMPD has had 22 officer-involved shootings last year, resulting in 12 fatalities, which is higher than last year's average, the year before that's average. And despite their PR campaigns, holding events at the Mob Museum, talking about how they're a national model for police reform, Nevada is leading the country in police killings, ranking 6th in the nation.
Yeah.
The average number of people killed by police per year between 2013 and 2017 in Nevada was 6.5 people. Last year alone, the LVMPD has doubled the state average. Yeah, so definitely want to point that out. Again, this is an article by Nisa's son. She's with Families United for Justice, Forced Trajectory Project. She does some great works, great organizer.
And that's actually when back when Eric Scott was murdered, and right after that Stanley Gibson was murdered, and the FBI came in and started pretending like they were investigating the LVMPD. The LVMPD was averaging 11 people killed for about 3 years. So we're basically back to the point we were before the FBI, did their little fake investigation and headed out of town. So.
Okay, next article comes from the Free Thought Project.
A neighbor recorded what happened.
Oh, whoops. Rookie cop identified who killed dad as he fixed his daughter's truck while open carrying. So this is a guy who was on the side of the road fixing his daughter's truck, and he had an open carry, so he was on his hip, and it was a rookie cop, trigger-happy rookie cop. And here's a quick clip to give you a little more context. But
I
that's
mean, to
pretty
be
much
fair,
the
he
gist
could have been
of it.
stealing somebody's tire, you know. So
Right.
you got to
So-
make sure you kill him.
That's right. That's a death penalty offense.
A neighbor recorded what happened after Glenn Reitzel was shot by Indiana State Police on Friday. It happened near North Montgomery High School in Montgomery County. The video was recorded by Kenneth Steen. You can see as police handcuffed Reitzel and brought him to a patrol car. Jesse Vaught is the stepson of Reitzel. He says that Reitzel was working on his daughter's car. He was shot around 6:35 p.m. The video started recording after he had been shot at around 6:43 p.m. Vaught is saying he was shot in the face. State police say Reitzel failed to comply with commands from the trooper and allegedly grabbed his gun that was on his waist. That's when ISP says the trooper shot Reitzel, striking him at least once. A complete investigation will be conducted by ISP. They say the name of the trooper involved will be released at a later date. Vaught is claiming that the officers did not take proper steps to administer first aid.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be a very complete investigation.
So adding to the suspicious nature of the official account, Reitzel's family said their father called police to ask officers not to tow the car until he had a chance to look at it on his own. So he called them and said he was going to be out there, don't tow it. And he gets there, starts working on it. Cop shows up, car pulled over on the side of the road. Sees a gun, rookie freaks out and shoots him. Yeah, can we
Well,
get another?
here's the problem. Any interaction with police can lead to a shooting. This gentleman thought he was doing the proper thing. Hey, I'll let the police know, so everything will be cool. There won't be any conflict. There won't be any problems. But as soon as he made that phone call, he set in motion the events that led to him being shot. And this is anytime you call the police for any situation, whether you think it's justified or you're just informing them about some minor thing that you think you're doing the right thing, you're putting people's lives in jeopardy. Calling the police is the worst thing you can ever do.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you could ever do.
And of course, no body cam or dash cam footage of the incident. Surprise, surprise. All we have is a video from somebody who filmed the police. Great job, whoever that was. Unfortunately, they only caught the aftermath of the situation. So yeah, film the police. Shit, every time I see headlights, turning the camera on for sure.
Yeah. Every time I see a cop, this comes out of my pocket in my hand.
Yeah, and you have to be proactive. That's true. As soon as you become aware of a police officer, you don't wait for contact with you. You start running that camera immediately because with the police officers, things transpire quickly. As soon as they see you and get it into their head, they might not come up and ask you questions. They will take their gun out and shoot. So, having that camera out immediately gives you a good chance to record the true events that happen and not leaving it up to the police to dictate the narrative of what happens, because you know that they will lie to put themselves in the best light.
Absolutely.
And put you at a great disadvantage if you survive the encounter when there's the investigation.
Yeah, but dead men tell no tales.
And that's true.
So that's why they unload the whole clip and, say that he reached for the gun.
Yeah, you get some nervous rookie out there that's going to do it. Or you get some psychotic veteran, one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, or some rookie looking to get his tattoo.
So this was a family friend who said he definitely doesn't believe the official story. Been friends with the family, this guy, for 30 years. He said, I think it's bullshit, to be honest. Glenn was a great, kind soul, always willing to help in any way, always laughing. He's carried a gun for years and wouldn't hurt a soul. Something is being covered up, and we all know it.
To be fair, it does sound right that the guy would be like, no, you're going to let me change this tire or I'm going to shoot you. That sounds reasonable that somebody would do that.
Right. Yeah, I would call the police just so I could create the situation to get myself shot while changing a tire.
Yeah.
All right, here's the next story here. Cop arrested because he didn't know he was on film when he kicked a handcuffed kid in the face. So
Which is like the third time that's happened.
Yep.
I love that. See, all these people filming the police. This is how stories get out, and this is how police are held accountable. See, this cop was actually arrested because somebody filmed the police.
And like I said, that's like the third clip this year, or within the a year's time, because we're past the New Year's, that a cop has been caught on video kicking a guy in the face while he's laying on the ground handcuffed.
Yeah.
It's almost like they train you to do that in the academy.
Yeah.
I don't care. Wow. No lo pude agarrar cuando venía corriendo.
No, porque yo sí vi corriendo y las personas corriendo y yo pensé que era un muchacho.
Sí, ya lo pasaron.
So this is a young kid. I want to say 16 or...
And he's pretty clearly resisting and being violent right there.
Yep.
No, le dio con el taser.
His feet are spread. He doesn't seem to have shoes on. His hands are behind his back, cuffed. His face down.
Yeah. So let's watch that because he was real quick. Kicks him. He's handcuffed, laying there. Kicks him. Knee to the back of the head. Kicks him. Knee to the back of the head. So, it might not look like much,
And
but...
you notice all those good cops around him charging in to stop him.
That's right. Reprimanding him, holding him back.
Well, two clearly looked the other way on purpose. So,
Yep.
The other two saw him.
And watching.
And
to see,
they didn't file a report, a thin blue line.
And one of them's wearing a suit, so he's like the supervisor, and he just happened to be looking the other direction.
So when we say ACAB, we mean ACAB.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That thin blue line may stretch, but it will never break.
Mm-hmm. So this is a great story here. one cop, this is a sergeant here, Officer Mark Morgan. He honors his oath to the Constitution and stops one of his officers under his command who had tased this dude for exercising his free speech. Check this clip out.
You know, he'll be out of a job soon, and he ain't going to get hired at the next department.
Well,
So it was.
It's the guy that's tasing him that's going to be working at another department in a month.
Oh yeah, if you read the article, he already is, I believe. But yeah, the guy who was tased won $175,000 settlement, so that was good.
And that wasn't enough.
But it doesn't matter because it doesn't hurt the police department. It comes out of the citizens'
Yeah, he won
money.
$175,000 from whatever city this guy lives in.
Right, and
taxpayers.
that's we're on the hook for that. We pay for these bad cops.
See, what they need to do is, if they're not going to make them carry some kind of insurance, then take it out of their retirement or their pension and watch how, these incidences just
Listen,
go down.
I say they work it off at the regular prison rate, which is what, 12 cents an hour.
There you go. There's an idea. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, check this clip out. This shit is hilarious. These guys are outside of a cop house.
I didn't get the memo on it.
I think it's a headquarters.
No.
We should
I thought I
send
would have
out
gotten
that
like a
memo.
calendar invite or something.
It says fuck bad
Would you mind
cops
just
on
lowering
there.
that for me? Would you mind lowering it for me? I don't want it used as a weapon against me, okay?
I'm not going to use it as a
Would you
weapon.
please lower it down
You
for
would
me?
do well to stay clear of me.
Okay. Gentlemen, we need to talk for a minute, okay? Here's the thing. Yes, you are.
Which crime specifically?
Trespassing.
Trespassing.
You have been asked to leave the property, okay? Right
So
now
I'm
you are
shutting this down so that it's
perfectly.
not a weapon.
Awesome. I totally
Let me
appreciate
advise you
that.
that this is public property.
Actually, this is private property that you're on
Oh,
right
it
now.
is?
It is.
Who owns it?
The Adams County government.
The Adams County government. Oh, I forgot about his name. Didn't he run for president? No, he's not a person. It's the public. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Sir?
No justice, no peace. Fuck the police.
Keep an eye out all the way around,
We need to get. I say that.
You've been asked to leave the property.
We gotta get this guy
You are
on the
now
show.
committing trespassing.
Right.
Okay? That's all we're asking you to do is to leave the property.
He was trying to leave the property
I
and
will
they
give you my
stopped him.
information when we're done.
No, you're
Okay.
giving me now.
No, I
Yeah,
will
you'll
give it to you when
identify
we're done.
yourself before you take any
It's
official action.
it's Officer Dickey right here.
That's what your thing
Badge
says.
number 2905. Okay.
So, Mr. Dickey, why are you removing
It's Officer
me from
Dickey.
public prop? No, it's Mr. Dickey.
I'm removing you from private property because you were asked
It's
to
not
leave
private
this property. Yes.
Do you see any posted signs? No, this is a building open to the public.
Did you,
it is
sir?
open to the public right now. Consent to this
Yep, this is all public property.
No justice, no peace.
Gentlemen, I need your ID, please, so I could write you a summons.
You will be willing to write me a summons?
Yes.
Outstanding.
I need your ID also, please, sir. Okay, I'm gonna place you under arrest then.
You're not placing me under arrest.
Come here.
You have no right to ask for any.
Come here.
He falls down.
All right, taser.
Had no reason to arrest this dude.
What, he hit him?
No
in the-
reason to tase him. That's
He,
for damn
hand,
sure.
he tased him in the banner.
One hit the banner and one prong hit his arm. He's stuck in his arm.
Go.
Now there's another one chasing him. He burns them both. Look. He tried to tase him.
He's
He
lucky.
comes all the way back around, and then here comes the
He
sergeant.
is under arrest.
Check this out.
He's under arrest.
For what?
For trespassing and for disorderly conduct.
On public property, dipshit. What the fuck is wrong with you?
When he's in front of the business, yelling "fuck everybody."
You see this sign? It says
Public property, folks.
You wanna know why?
Freedom of speech.
Because cops like you keep fucking.
He refused to give me
Relax.
his ID, which he's required to do.
For why?
So I could issue him a citation for trespassing.
It's not trespass.
They kicked him out of the property.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
So it goes on. They
Well, I
they
like
show
he's
multiple
trying to turn
angles.
his camera off right
Yeah.
then, so while the sergeant's telling him he's wrong, but he can't figure out how to turn it off because he's tired because that guy fucking wore his ass out running
Yeah.
down the street.
Mhm.
I wish we had a fucking like a wide angle view of that because that's fucking amazing.
Well, they have a couple different angles. Check out the article on the Free Thought Project. They have a link to the video, and they got a few different angles, and they
Where
tell you
is
about
this
the
at?
story.
Because we really should get these guys on the show.
Yeah, it says his name too. I'm
Should
definitely
fly
going to
him
look
in.
for him.
Absolutely. We're taking donations to flying these two gentlemen. You can make all donations to ACAB Radio.
Commerce City,
So
Colorado.
California. Oh, Colorado.
Colorado.
That's not that
Well,
far.
it's after the holidays.
It's
too,
right down
so-
I-70.
Joshua Condiotti Wade is the one that was running those tags.
Nice.
He got
We gotta look that guy up.
$175,000.
I like the fluorescent stuff. Like, I like
Well, they
black,
just-
but at the same time, like, maybe we'll do a run of fluorescent fucking gear
Yeah.
and we get some.
The other guy's Eric Brandt. He's I don't know if he does First Amendment audits or what, but he's the fuck the police, fuck bad cops guy. Either one or have both.
I
of them
agree
have
with
them
that.
on, that'd be great.
Good job, gentlemen.
Yeah. $175,000.
And by the way, that's why so many people get shot when they run from the police, because the police are just fucking lazy these days and out of shape and they can't fucking run. This guy's lucky that he only went for the taser, not the gun.
Yeah, for real. Here's the next article here. Okay, watch. Disabled veteran ripped from wheelchair, pepper sprayed for questioning Walmart ID policy. So this is in Walmart. Veteran in a wheelchair. They throw him out of the chair and rough him up. We got the clip here. Check this out.
Hey! I cannot fight you guys. Stop this. No! Get off my phone. You don't have the right to use my phone. Ah! You don't have the right to use my phone.
Are these cops doing this?
Yeah.
Or the security?
Those are officers.
All right, I can't see.
A lot of times it's both because they moonlight as security, but generally Walmart has their own security, so it's probably just they call the cops.
Right. And they don't actually have a policy. You don't agree to show them any receipt or anything else. If they think you stole, then they have to arrest you. And if they're wrong, then...
There he goes. Threw him out of the wheelchair. This was over an ID.
Well, what is
He
the?
wouldn't-
I
he
mean,
wouldn't
what?
give his ID.
Under what pretense were they asking for ID?
He was
trying to buy liquor or cigarettes?
trying to buy liquor.
So then they say we're not going to sell you liquor, and you have to
And you
leave.
roll away.
Yeah. You don't call the cops and rough them up like this.
Well, these are police officers. So we know what they do.
So this is somebody who served his country, fought for the right
Well, I mean,
to
that was
be
years
able
ago.
to drink alcohol.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's just a burden now.
Well, and also, I mean, these
the way they look
corporations
at it.
use police as their private security
That's
to
what it
enforce
is. Absolutely.
rules that they set up. It has nothing to do with laws or anything else. They're private thugs.
Yeah.
They're mercenaries at this point.
Right.
I mean,
There we go. Mercenaries is a perfect
Yeah,
word.
just like with the
And city paid. I mean, we pay for those. Those are tax-payered or, the mercenaries.
Yeah, just like with the pipeline we were talking about earlier. They're mercenaries. They work for private corporations, not for the people. And here's a local story. Back to the Henderson police chief again.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
in the headlines again.
Yeah.
well, the thing is, I posted this on the Nevada Cop Block Facebook page, and the two takeaways from this were, she's corrupt, which she was corrupt before she got there, so we know that's true.
We've known this. Yeah.
Or the corrupt police don't want to listen to her. And so, best case scenario, either she's corrupt or the rest of the police are corrupt and trying to cause problems. So, nothing about this is good. Even if, no matter which way you want to fall on, it's corrupt police, So,
Right.
and she brought in her second-hand man who had already he'd shot two people and killed one of them after he got into a fight on some party bus and got his
fucking
ass kicked, so he
coward.
went to his car and got a gun.
He's the number 2 in command now.
Yeah,
Right.
she specifically brought him in to be the number 2 guy. And the Henderson City Council had no problem with that whatsoever.
Well, they're all corrupt as shit, too. They all got their own investigations going on.
Well, that's the other thing is half of Henderson is either been fired or under investigation.
Yeah.
I think the only one that beats them out is Boulder City in terms of like percentage. Like
Right,
Las
but
Vegas has
in
got them on the
size.
numbers, but we got a lot more population.
Right.
There was also one of the complaints was from somebody who's transgender, and something about a position.
And-
they said they didn't get it because they were transgender.
And so the funny
there's
thing
other
about that
complaints,
is I saw that clip, but a couple of days before I saw that, I saw another article in a different newspaper or a different news source talking about transgenders, people working within the Henderson Police Department and how they were like trying to bridge the gap and all this. So there
was a fluff piece.
Well, they
Yeah.
fed a PR piece
Piece,
into
yeah.
a couple of days before, trying to make it like Henderson's being really fair to transgender people,
And then here
just
the
before the
truth
story
comes out
about how they
now.
discriminated against a transgender person came out.
Right.
One of the other
The
complaints
despicable and
was,
disgusting. What can you do?
I mean, I believe it because the other complaint has to do with religious material. She made
Oh, right.
everybody going to a meeting or something read some religious material before
But you got
going.
bagged on that.
So, yeah. The other local story, Michael Ray Stevens, ex-Henderson police officer, faces domestic battery charge. Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Now, is this a misleading headline? Because when he was doing the domestic battery,
No.
was he already an ex-cop?
I thought that myself
Because it's
that's the
usually
way
that
they
way.
usually do that is
Yeah.
they fire the guy and then they call him X because
Right.
it looks better than saying Henderson police officer. But no, he was fired for what was it, drunk driving?
Oh, there we go. That makes it a whole lot better.
It was either drunk driving or it was another case of domestic battery. I forget right now, but he had something that he got busted for and he got fired, and now a few years later he's getting busted for domestic battery.
Yeah. I tried to pull it up so I can make notes of it, but the Review Journal now you only get to see so many articles before
Yeah.
They
close
make you pay.
the site off to you. Yeah, and I'm not giving a cent to Sheldon Adelson. So here's the next story. I'm going to play the clip
Because they make
for
sure you don't have much access to the one newspaper in the city of Las Vegas with 2 million people, and we've got one newspaper owned by the same company.
Yeah, you got to pay up. The next article is cops mistake man's diabetic shock for resisting. So then they beat the shit out of him when he was having like a diabetic
seizure. Yeah.
it's
Henderson already set the bar for that when they did that.
Gentlemen.
Where they stopped the guy and kicked him in the head. And then the DA came out and said, first, that it wasn't within public interest to investigate that. And then when the public said, fuck yeah, it is in our interest, then he came around and said, well, they trained them to kick people in the head in the academy. So,
Unbelievable.
So they
Nice
didn't
to
charge
know.
a guy who beat somebody who
Was in diabetic shock.
Yeah, who was having a diabetic fit.
So there's no audio on this, but I'm going to play the clip for you guys so you can see just how out of control these cops are.
I could play the audio for you.
It's also like in Alabama where they pepper sprayed a guy who was having a seizure.
Yep. You could hear
Pepper
the
spray and tased, actually. They also
Yeah.
tased him.
Yeah. I'm doing the play-by-play. There's static on the police radio, and you hear.
Yeah, this is a call going out. We actually should get some videos with the cops talking and just fucking put this over it. From now on, we have silent videos. We're gonna have to fucking dub this in.
So it's hard to tell.
I'm gonna start carrying one of these with me at all times.
You can see his hands start like flailing in the air. He starts having like a, I don't know, diabetic episode. He's in diabetic shock. And you see him like his hands flailing and rubbing his head and stuff. There he goes. He's not all there right now. His body's there, but his mind's not there. He's
Well,
just-
and the end result of diabetic shock is you die.
Mhm.
So it's not something that shouldn't be taken seriously. It's not something that the cops shouldn't be trained on.
Well, when
and
he
even
doesn't-
if
he doesn't roll down the window, he doesn't open the door, he doesn't do anything.
if you're
like
doing
that
that
should be
and
it for
you're
you.
having some sort of seizure and having some sort, which you can tell the difference between somebody being drunk and somebody having a seizure or
Yeah.
being in diabetic shock or something.
Well,
Like,
even if you
you're
can't.
not aggressively attacking people. You might be flailing around and stuff, but you're not aggressively
Listen,
attacking somebody.
if
So
this
there's no reason
gentleman-
whatsoever for them to attack
Right.
you.
Right. Even if you are driving while impaired, then you should be taken in and arrested for that offense. And there's other problems that mimic. Anybody who has any sort of seizure, diabetic, or if they have any other medical issues,
Well,
it's
the
not
thing-
right for them to assume immediately without checking whether you have any sort of elevated alcohol levels or not.
Well, and the other thing, like this, he's just sitting on the side of the road, so he's not even a danger to anybody. Like at least the one
No.
in Henderson, the guy was driving as he was having the diabetic seizure.
Right.
So you could see where they could think that he was he's drunk.
Right. I mean,
But that doesn't it's not their job to beat people who are driving drunk.
Right.
So,
That's what I'm saying. No matter what the case, even if he was, driving drunk, absolutely unacceptable. If he was having some sort of epileptic seizure, or,
We got another viewer comment here. Junior Samples. I'm in PA. Somebody from Pennsylvania. So we
Nice.
got
Go Eagles.
Tennessee and
back in the
Pennsylvania.
playoffs again.
there he goes. You could hear the police getting angry now when issuing commands.
Unless he's a Pittsburgh fan, then he's probably not happy about the whole thing going on there.
I mean, dude had his gun out or a hand on his gun. I mean, look at the guy's clearly having
thing
a
is-
diabetic episode. You can see they smash the window. There he goes. Smashes the window.
So the thing is, you call an ambulance and you have them come,
Yeah,
and
he's clearly not a threat.
he's not doing anything that
No.
they have this vital need to pull him out of the car and beat him.
Well, see, the issue is they perceive him to be, for him to be disrespecting them.
That's
It's
exactly
contempt
what it
of
is.
cop again. He's
Yeah.
not
That's
cooperating.
right. He's not quite. How dare you challenge my authority?
Yep.
On any issue, and as soon as you mention anything, I'm gonna fuck you up.
And here we
I'm gonna
go.
fuck you up. Here, look.
I mean, when they pull
And
him
there he
out,
goes.
his body's like limp. He's not fighting. He's not resisting. Look at that. And they just
But that's the thing. I mean, so he's
mess
he's
him up.
that's basically when you're in diabetic shock. It's pretty close to a seizure. It's the same kind of situation. You're not in control.
Right.
Exactly.
You can't.
But you can see
follow
right
through.
there, he's not aggressively attacking them. There's no
No.
reason.
You're too ill.
He's making it difficult for them to handcuff him. Is what
Yeah,
he's
because
doing.
he's
Right.
a diabetic shock, man. It's fucked up. Like there's
You're-
that big dude's got his knee on his head, pressing his head into the pavement.
Well,
so
he's
you
going to
can
show
see-
him, contempt of
And-
cop. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
You're going to talk
If you
back
were
to
a
me.
cop and you were somebody who was supposed to help people, then you would probably be trained in emergency situations where you could recognize that somebody's
You go
in
punching him right
diabetic
there.
issue. So realistically, like the best thing they should have done is just wait, call an ambulance and wait for the ambulance to show up and help.
Listen, I don't even mind them breaking the window to extradite him from the car because, maybe he does need, to be laid down flat. If the head falls forward, if he closes off any
face
sort of
first,
breathing.
though.
Well, no.
Face first into
No,
the asphalt with a knee
right.
to your
But
head.
I'm saying,
Yeah, if
somebody's-
it's to help, yeah.
Right. You lay him out. If you can't administer a sobriety test because he looks incapacitated, you don't beat the fuck out of somebody.
Who's in diabetic shock.
Or even if they're drunk. I mean, I know you'd be angry that they may be drinking or you perceive they'd be drinking. But you don't beat fucking people up. That's not their job.
Yeah. So this dude, his body's there, but his mind's not there. He's out of it. Here's a picture. Blood everywhere. His head all bandaged up. They roughed him up pretty good.
There we go.
So yeah, we're just over an hour. We're gonna wrap things up here.
Well, and meanwhile, that story could have been cops save man who's in diabetic shock.
That's right.
Right.
They could have, yeah.
Could have been a
Instead,
different headline.
it's cops beat man, who's in diabetic
For
shock.
being unable to
Savagely,
comply.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Diabetic shock
But
is
meanwhile,
not resisting, folks.
us pointing that stuff out is the stuff that's making the cops have a bad image.
Yep. Well, as they used to say in the old neighborhood, fuck the police.
All right, so some events coming up. We got Food Not Bombs on Sunday. This weekend there's a Common Ground Summit in Houston, Texas. ACAB Radio was extended an invite. We'll be there.
We'll have a rep there.
And
Joey will be there. He'll
Yep.
be doing live videos with people.
hell yeah, gonna meet some great activists and journalists over there.
I'm going to let him wear my fur hat so he looks cool.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to identify him easily. It's the guy with the fur hat.
Right? Yeah. He'll be the only guy there with a fur hat. I don't know what the weather's like in Houston right now, but it's usually pretty hot in Texas.
I don't care.
And they don't wear
Wearing
fur
it.
hats.
I'm wearing
It won't
it.
be a cowboy hat.
Well, if we could find him a fur cowboy hat, fuck yeah. Dude. That's
So-
fucking... I'll put my whole fucking everything I got.
To buy that.
So the people putting it on are independent media folks that have been subjected to Zuckerberg's Facebook censorship. Jason Bassler,
The Great Purge.
Yeah, the Great Purge. Jason Bassler with the Free Thought Project, Police the Police. Millions and millions of followers, and the pages were just purged from Facebook. We talked about that. We had John Vibes on for one really good episode to talk about Facebook censorship. If you haven't heard that, check it out. We also, it's also put on by Derek Bros. We had him on the show as well. So if you haven't listened to that episode, check it out. That was a great one when he was on the Liberate Your Mind tour.
Oh, and you get to hear some great music on that
Oh, yeah,
episode
yeah.
as well.
Joey's going to try to interview Art Acevedo, who used to be the sheriff of, or not the sheriff, the police chief of Austin, Texas, which is one of the worst departments ever.
If I
And
can
is
just get
now
over
in
there.
Houston. So-
Oh, he is in Houston now. Okay.
Yeah, he's now the police chief in Houston
Yeah, we'll see what kind of work we can do while we're out there.
because he
Get some
did such a great
interviews,
job in Austin.
Some live streams. Yeah, so I'll be reporting back next week. Let everybody know what kind of ideas we've got to help combat censorship and hopefully network with some of these other media influencers and independent journalists and try to network and grow our reach and help provide solutions to this problem.
That's true. Hey, I have a special request to the folks out there. You see our pig. If we have any crafters out there who could possibly make us a police uniform that would fit our pigs, we'd love to have it. We'd send you, say your name on the air, and you'd be represented every show. And a little pig hat would be cool as well. So any crafters out there, please, send us one. We'd appreciate it. I don't have that kind of talent.
We need your help.
Yeah, as you can see from the show, I have no talent at all. So
Desperately need pig outfits.
yeah,
All
this
right,
guy,
guys.
he's fucking a Christmas.
yeah. We have the Christmas pig, and we could fix him up a
We could
little
probably just
bit,
color this
but this pig is naked, and and it could be a state police outfit or your local police uniform,
If you can
summer
make-
or winter, motorcycle cop. If you want to make little boots, that'll be cool too. And if you have a little motorcycle, we'll set them on there.
If you can make
as
some
well.
interchangeable outfits so that we can change them up every show. that'd be
Yeah,
great.
we can't play with Barbies on the show, so we were able to play dress up.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Next week, we'll be back with episode 32.